Ghana Cocobod's credibility as a first-class borrower was endorsed in Paris when they successfully signed for a syndicated receivable-backed pre-export finance facility of $1.2 billion in Paris on Friday, 20th September 2013. The amount raised has been increasing in value since 1992, when the government of Ghana under the NDC, to relieve central bank of the pressure of raising finance within Ghana to purchase cocoa beans from the farmers for export, turned to the international financial market to raise short-term finance in support of this activity. Now in its 20th year, the facility was once again oversubscribed and is the largest soft commodity deal in sub-Saharan Africa. The signing ceremony held at the Hilton La Défense began with a cocktail reception offering delegates the opportunity to network. While the cocktail was in process, the senior management of Cocobod and Cocoa Marketing Company Ghana proceeded with the pre-signing ceremony. The pre-signing allows for the final inspection and clarification of the official documents. This was overseen by Denton Wildsapt, the official legal team in charge of the finance arrangements. Representing Cocobod at the pre-signing were the Chief Executive Officer Mr. Anthony FOFIE, Mr. William Mensah, Deputy Chief Executive Finance and Administration, Mrs. Mary Mukwabi, Director of Finance, and Mr. Clote Sefa, Director of Legal Services. Representing Cocoa Marketing Company Ghana Limited was Mr. Nana Odro Owusu, Managing Director, and from Cocoa Marketing Company UK was Mr. Musa Lemboni, Manager. Also present were Mr. Joe Mensah, Managing Director of Ghana International Bank, and Mr. Joseph NGMINEBAYIHI, Minister Counsellor, Ghana Embassy, France. The 2013 Cocobod Trade Finance Facility was attended by some of the board members, including Dr. Ajiman Etuakunto, Mr. Kusigoni Trogat, and Mrs. Afriye Hafa. Also present was Johannes Vegba, legal advisor for Cocoa Marketing Company Ghana Limited. The syndicated lead arrangers for the 2013 facility were Societe Generale, Bank of Tokyo Mitsubishi UFJ Limited, Rand Merchant Bank, Credit Agricole Corporate and Investment Banking, Netcap, and Ghana International Bank PLC.
I'm delighted to welcome you to Paris for yet another closing celebration of the 2013-2014 edition of the Ghana Cocobod Annual Pre-Export Financing. Societe Generale had the honor.
In his welcome address, Mr. FREDERICO Turegano, Managing Director at SG Corporate and Investment Banking, commended Cocobod for putting in place good management and financial structures that has given the banks trust to continue to raise finance for them.
I also welcome our colleagues from the other 18 banks that have joined this financing during the general syndication and that are here for signing the documentation. When we last spoke in 2009, I noted the stress-relieving qualities of chocolate as we were in the midst of a financial crisis. I'm afraid to say that for us bankers, things have not improved dramatically over the last few years. Our industry continues to be in the headlines for a variety of reasons, and, good for Ghana, we bankers are continuing to consume vast amounts of chocolate as we try to manage our own stress. So thank you, Ghana, and I hope we're doing something for the price of cocoa. More seriously, however, as the world's economies do struggle through 6 years of crisis after crisis, we more than ever, we must seek out those examples of stability that give us hope, of anchors that steady us in uncertain times. And like the changing of the seasons, and like the coming of the fall, the annual Ghana Cocobod financing, now in its 20th year, is an example of such an anchor. This financing and the 2 decades of examples that precede it demonstrate that prudent, well-structured, well-motivated financings will always have a place in any environment. A good deal for a good client will always get done. The oversubscription that accompanied this year's syndication is further evidence of that. The credit for this does not go to the banks. It goes to the Ghana Cocobod, and especially to the good farmers of Ghana who produce this wonderful product that the world keeps craving. This financing, and those that will certainly continue to follow for decades into the future, are also examples not just of best practices and solid governance on the part of Cocobod, but also of the worlds of structured finance and the real economies intersecting at their best. At a time when there is still skepticism about the roles and the motivations of banks, I assure you, ladies and gentlemen of the Ghana Cocobod, that your bankers are proud of this financing. We are proud that even in a modest and distant way, our work has touched the lives of the 800,000 families that work to produce the best cocoa beans in the world. On behalf of the Leader Rangers and your syndicate of banks, I want to thank you for your confidence and your trust. I want to congratulate you on this success. I would also like to invite all of you, after our work is done here, to our headquarters so we can continue the celebration and raise a glass to the Cocobod, to the transaction, and to the wonderful people of Ghana. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
In the order in which we're going to be signing the document.
The main signing ceremony was called into action by Miss Veronika KOROLEVA, a partner at Denton Wild South.
We have 10 original facility agreements to sign. So once they're signed over here, they sort of start moving around the room in that direction, so you all have your chance. So once you've signed, pass it over to the person sitting next to you. Please make sure those of you who are signing in more than one capacity, as agent or as an MLA, make sure you sign in all the places where we need to sign.
Other banks involved in the facility included DZ Bank, SMBC, Commerce Bank, Deutsche Bank, Barclays, Barclays Ghana, BHF Bank, BNPP, KFW IPEX, Natixis, Nedbank, HSBC, Citi, Standard Chartered, Intesa, and EcoBank.
It is 20 years now since Ghana.
To mark the completion of the signing, Mr. Joe Mensah, Managing Director of Ghana International Bank, in a short address thanked the banks for making the facility possible and assured them that GHIB will work with Cocobod to ensure payment for the loan is executed on time, as has been the case over the past 19 years.
Ghana Cocobod has been an able intermediary between the cocoa farmers of Ghana and the international commodity markets, as well as the international financial markets. Ghana Cocobod has thus ensured that the cocoa farmers of Ghana have had access to improved seedlings, extension services, research results from its Cocoa Research Institute. It has built schools and roads in the cocoa growing areas. It has provided warehousing facilities, in addition to guaranteeing the cocoa farmers a minimum of 70% of the world market price of cocoa. In the same vein, Ghana Cocobod has performed commendably by discharging all its obligations to the international financial community over the past 19 years. We at Ghana International Bank have worked very closely together with Ghana Cocobod to install an online documents processing facility between our offices in London and Ghana Cocobod's offices in Ghana to facilitate the collection process this year. The import of this is that instead of the collection documents first moving from the shipping department of Cocoa Marketing Company to the Central Bank of Ghana, and then from the Central Bank of Ghana to Ghana International Bank in London, before finally being dispatched from London to the presenting banks in Europe, which all in all took about 15 days. The documents are now processed online at the offices of Ghana Cocobod in Ghana and dispatched directly from Ghana to the presenting banks in Europe. And this takes a maximum of 8 days after a ship had left the shores of Ghana. I believe that to the lenders gathered here today, this should be music to your ears, because from a cash flow perspective, it means Ghana Cocobod has improved the collection cycle, and the cash flow and the collection will come faster, so the bankers, the lenders will be paid quicker. Fellow bankers, I'm sure you will all agree with me that Cocobod has clearly exhibited the qualities of an organization that is progressive and is constantly seeking to improve on its performance. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, on this note, I ask you all to raise your glasses to toast Ayiko, as we say in Ghana, to Ghana Cocobod for a job well done. This is an organization that is worth commending, that is worth supporting, and that is worth lending to. Please raise your glasses and toast to Ghana Cocobod. To Ghana Cocobod. Thank you.
Mr. Anthony FOFIE, CEO of Ghana Cocobod, in his speech also thanked the banks for making available the facility and making it oversubscribed once again. Mr. FOFIE paid tribute to the government of Ghana and all the stakeholders in the industry for ensuring the continual growth of the Ghana cocoa industry. He also thanked the banks for going beyond raising finance for cocoa purchases and donating annually special funds raised amongst the banks to be invested directly into cocoa growing communities in Ghana.
I'm delighted that once again we've gathered here to append signatures to an agreement that ensures that the Ghanaian cocoa farmers are paid fairly and promptly for their cocoa. This syndicated trade finance facility for Ghana Cocobod in the sum of $1.2 billion for the 2013-2014 cocoa purchasing season again demonstrates the international financial institutions' confidence in the Ghanaian cocoa sector and the economy of the Republic of Ghana. We are grateful to all the banks gathered here who facilitated the syndication, especially the coordinating initial mandated lead arrangers, the Bank of Tokyo Mitsubishi, Credit Agricole and Investment Bank, Net Bank Limited, Rand Merchant Bank, that is a division of the First Rand Bank Limited, Societe Generale, CIB, Societe Generale Ghana, and Ghana International Bank. In the last couple of years, it has become a tradition for the consortium of banks in the syndication to donate gifts to Cocobod in the form of projects to improve the livelihood of leading cocoa farming communities. Gentlemen, you realize that apart from this syndication of 1.2 billion, or even any other monies that are received from the banks have graciously given us some amount to service cocoa farming communities in Ghana. For example, during the 2011-2012 syndication process, an anesthetic machine and a borehole were provided to the Tetekwasi Memorial Hospital in Mampoa-Kwapim in the eastern region of Ghana. Before the signing of the 2012-2013 facility, Ghana Cocoa Board, in consultation with the banks, decided to support a Ghanaian cocoa community with a project that will enhance the livelihood of farmers. You graciously chose to support the construction of a 6-unit classroom block for the Ofuansi cocoa community near Agunas Fredu, central region of Ghana, with an amount of $67,500. I am pleased to inform you that the school block was commissioned on Thursday, 12 September 2013, and it has brought smiles on the faces of children who were hitherto attending classes in dilapidated classrooms. The chiefs and people of Ofuansi extend their profound gratitude to you for this kind gesture. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the confidence the international financial system has in the Ghanaian cocoa sector stems in part from our record in fulfilling our part of the bargain in loan agreements over the years. Just as Mr. Joe Mensah said, it's over 20 years now. And I feel fulfilled to mention that we have never defaulted on any of these loans. This ability to pay on time reflects the resilience of our farmers in adhering to proven production and quality standards for which Ghana's cocoa is well known. I wish to assure you all that Ghana Cocoa Board will continue to strive to promote the sustainable development of the cocoa sector, such that the livelihoods of our farmers are enhanced through pragmatic policies and program interventions. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the management of Ghana Cocoa Board wishes to assure all the 25 banks involved in the syndication that it is fully committed to meeting its obligations under this loan agreement and will take steps to enhance the assignments, collections, and repayment processes associated with the facility. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I wish to commend all our stakeholders, the cocoa farmers, the government of Ghana, input dealers, companies, extension agents, hauliers and license buying companies, and Ghana Cocoa Board staff, and our development partners for their commitment to the achievement of the goals of the cocoa sector in Ghana. Let me thank you for listening to me. Thank you very much. Let us, the Cocoa Board delegation, be upstanding and then express our appreciation to all the participating banks. So, to all the participating banks.
I feel elated to be part of this historic occasion That is a culmination
Mr. Joseph
of the
NGMINEBAYIHI,
efforts
Minister Counselor at the Ghana Embassy,
Ghana
France,
Cocoa Board
gave a short speech
and
on
the
behalf
International
of Her
Financial
Excellency Mrs. Jennifer
in
Tega.
securing funding for the purchase of cocoa for the 2013-2014 cocoa season. It is quite instructive that this ceremony is taking place in Paris, the capital of the French state. Ghana and France have had a long-standing development and trading partnership that has been mutually beneficial. I recall French development assistance to Ghana in the areas of education, health, agriculture, and infrastructure. Ghana reciprocates these kind gestures by maintaining very cordial bilateral relationships with the government and people of France. Cocoa cultivation is a critical livelihood activity for millions of Ghanaian farm families. Incomes from cocoa have helped to move millions of households from abject poverty and penury. Cocoa production activities have also led to the transformation of the rural community landscape, helping many young persons to make the choice to stay in cocoa and other farming activities. These positive developments have enhanced Ghana's capacity to attain middle income status. It is for these reasons that the government of Ghana will continue to support the advancement of the cocoa subsector. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the government of Ghana is very grateful to the consortium of banks that facilitated this loan agreement. Your actions, once again, demonstrate the sustained confidence that you have in the Ghanaian economy and the cocoa subsector in particular. I can assure you that this vote of confidence is not misplaced, as Ghana continues to be the beacon of hope for the entire West African sub-region, given her stable democratic credentials and strong and independent institutions. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I have been assured by the management of Ghana Cocoa Board that this facility will be put for the purpose for which it has been procured, and that it will adhere strictly, as always, to all the terms of the agreement. Let me, on behalf of the government of Ghana, thank all stakeholders of the cocoa industry in Ghana, especially our esteemed farmers, for their dedication to duty, which has placed Ghana at the forefront in quality cocoa production. I thank the banks, our development partners, and the board, as well as the management of Ghana Cocoa Board, for bringing this syndication process to a fruitful end. Thank you very much for your attention.
So, Mr. FOFIE, on behalf of the usual mandate.
After the speeches, Vincent Nobile, on behalf of the syndicated banks, made a gift presentation to Mr. FOFIE for the Ghana Cocoa Board to mark the occasion.
The direct relationship between this financing and the cocoa farmers of Ghana. I would also like to add that the photo represents the very hands of a cocoa farmer in Ghana who lives 100 kilometers west of Accra, as the photographer told us, and whose family name is Mr. MENSAH, so maybe a relative.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me once again express our sincere appreciation to the banks for this gift. And it actually speaks a lot of words. The hands that actually do the work on the farms and the beings that are the product of these hands. Thank you very much.